He lost his memory but became a god with demon cards. Terudo is an ugly, disgusting, pathetic loser who wakes up in a strange place called Kyoto. A strange robot welcomes him in, mentioning his wish came true because he has beaten the king, and now he's back in the real world. Terudo's confused, thinking he's on a giant island that looks like a dream. He remembers that he spent the last 2 years fighting every day against opponents in a card game named Rebuild. And now, Terudo finally gets to talk to the boss, Higuma, who's a robot with just a digital brain. Higuma says he lost his body ages ago and has been watching Terudo. However, Higuma wants to take over Terudo's brain and put his own mind in there. Terudo freaks out and tries to run away, but the robot starts chasing him. After a bit, Terudo escapes from one robot but ends up in a place called Neo Kyoto where he meets another robot. The robot tells Terudo that this room is like the brain of Neo Kyoto, a virtual reality city made by a big company. People's minds are connected to this city when they sleep through special capsules, just like the Matrix. Terudo figures out that he used to be part of this system and waking up means he's free from it. He gets mad because he realized his whole life happened to be a lie, and the king he beat is actually the main brain of the city. The machine takes Terudo to the central control unit, where he sees Kika, his younger sister. The machine explains that Neo Kyoto needs strong players connected to the brain to keep running, and the battles decide who's the best. Kika defeated the king after Terudo and became the new king and main brain. Terudo wonders why they didn't use him, and the system says the boss chose him for a special reason. Terudo decides he has to save his sister, but the only way he can do it is by return to the virtual reality world. However, there's an error on the system, and Terudo's memories are deleted. Despite the error, Higuma says that merging Terudo's powers with Kika's will make the king super strong. Seconds later, Terudo wakes up in a garden without his memories. The only thing that comes to his mind is to battle the king. We then see a girl named Sakura. She's on a rooftop humming a song and she explains that everyone's got a wish. But to make it come true, they got to battle using the rebuild cards and collect 21 chips to face the king. Sakura then gets a message from the game, saying she's got a week to confirm her participation in the game. Sakura then walks away, mentioning she must find something. Suddenly, she starts being chased by a guy. The guy launches an attack with a card, but she also uses a card to conjure a magic shield to defend herself. She tries to run again, but almost collides with Terudo. But Terudo ends up dropping his bread. The angry guy squashes it and demands Sakura to give him her key chips. Sakura tries to refuse, mentioning the guy won't survive against her in a match. Terudo, on the hand, gets close to the guy. He says the bread is crying, and the guy freaks out, calling him a fool. He pulls a knife, but Terudo slices it with his card. Suddenly, a red skull demon appears behind Terudo. The guy freaks out, but the demon deletes him. Terudo then starts praying for the bread, and Sakura offers to buy Terudo a new one. She calls him a great player. However, Terudo replies he doesn't know anything about the cards. Sakura explains to him they are called Build Divide. They use them to survive in the city, which is ruled by the king. She reveals they are needed to grant wishes in the city. However, Terudo is confused. She takes him to an open area to explain more. Sakura calls a robot to create a barrier. She then explains they will have a card battle so he can learn while playing. Sakura shows her card holder and says they have 41 cards. Terudo's key to victory is his territory card, which contains an ace. Sakura tells him to blink twice, activating his scout lens. Now he sees her stats and battle lives, which are in form of stars. Sakura, using her territory card, summons her ace, Iora, and tells Terudo to do the same. His ace is named Bloom. Terudo goes first. Sakura explains that he needs to put a card in the energy zone to use 3 energy points. Then he can play another card with a color that matches the energy. Terudo puts a card in the energy zone and says accept, revealing a card unit named Nadia. Sakura warns him that if he runs out of energy, he can't play anymore. She asks him to attack her directly, and Nadia takes out one of her stars. She then reveals that if all life stars falls to 0 and she takes one more hit, she loses. Now it's Sakura's turn. She shows how the game works, using the Rabian Moonlight card to eliminate Terudo's Nadia. Terudo is surprised, and Sakura explains that when units battle, they deal damage based on their power. Terudo plays another card called Partial Dealer and defeats Sakura's Rabian, taking another life from Sakura. She explains that Rabian's ability transfers its life points to the zone, increasing her energy to 5. She uses it to activate her territory card, transforming the area into a sandy place with a heavy artillery base. Sakura explains that whoever maximizes their unit's ability wins. Her ace, Iora, attacks and defeats Terudo's Partial Dealer, making him lose 1 life. Terudo thinks of using Bloom but has a strange memory of a man and Bloom smiling. This gives him a headache, but he shakes it off. He continues playing, but suddenly he gets a vision to remove the card he just activated, missing his turn. Sakura is confused but keeps playing. She uses her card's skill to attack twice, destroying Terudo's card. Terudo loses 1 life for the first attack, but the second attack hits a trigger card, which makes him lose 1 extra life. Sakura explains he has 12 trigger cards in total, and they're randomly assigned to his life points. If he's unlucky, he could get 5 trigger cards in his life points, which would make him lose the game with only 6 hits. Terudo's in trouble, losing lives and getting headaches. Suddenly, he has a conversation with a mysterious man telling him he can't lose. He also hears voices shouting, "Defeat him, defeat the king." Suddenly, like he recalls some memories, he declares he'll defeat the king. He puts on his hood and apologizes to Bloom for keeping her waiting. He selects a card and activates Bloom ability with it. The area darkens, scaring Sakura. Terudo's move transforms his ace, Bloom, giving her a cool weapon. He uses Build Arise to change the arena, bringing in giant statues and a mysterious entity revealing a giant clock. The battle area splits into 2 zones. Bloom's ability wipes out Sakura's units, while Terudo plays the Black Knight card, Rhizome he initially removed, attacking Sakura. Luckily, it has no trigger, so it takes only 1 life. Sakura is surprised that Terudo is starting to play the game like a pro, and asks Terudo about his past and why he said he wants to defeat the king. But he stays silent. Now it's Sakura's turn. She plays a card, and using her ace's ability, she copies the card. The card has a big gun unit, and she increased the massive damage of each gun, shooting down the Rhizome. Terudo chuckles, saying he's starting to get the game. Sakura asks Terudo if he knows how to defeat the king. She claims to know and offers to tell him if he beats her, which seems impossible as Terudo has 2 lives and 1 unit, Bloom, while Sakura has 6 lives and a card named Zofia that can shoot 2 hit attacks, but she needs a burst trigger for those 2 hits to finish the game. She plays the Zofia card, saying if Terudo loses here, he can't reach the king. The mysterious man speaks to him again, agreeing. Sakura commands Zofia to attack Bloom. Terudo has a brief flashback about the mysterious man and using quick timing, activates Bloom's abilities, countering and eliminating Zofia. Now it's Terudo's turn, and he plays Partial Dealer followed by Bloom, making Sakura lose 3 lives. Sakura realizes she can't win with her current cards but continues. She plays her ace, Iora, attacking Partial Dealer and eliminating it. She couldn't defeat Bloom because she is so powerful, she can resurrect units. Sakura wonders if Bloom is protecting Terudo. Terudo then uses Bloom's ability to revive Riverwort. It eliminates Iora, and Sakura is still confident as she has 3 lives left. But Terudo explains the chances of finishing her off with 2 burst triggers is 80%. He directs Riverwort to attack Sakura, and unfortunately, there's a burst trigger, making her lose the remaining lives. Terudo wins. As the battle zone shatters, Sakura thinks she found the right person to reach the king. Back in the city, she promises to buy Terudo all the bread he needs in exchange for her chips. She explains the special battle called Rebuild, where one can challenge the king. To do that, they need 21 key chips to complete a key. Once they have it, they can fight the king and get their wish granted. Terudo says he doesn't have any wishes, but Sakura shares her wish and asks him to take her on his journey. He accepts her key chips, and Sakura asks the robot to register him as an official challenger. The next morning, Sakura gets a bread and goes to Terudo's place, a small tent under a bridge which had surprised her when she discovered that's where he lives. She gives him the bread as he enjoys his morning coffee. Sakura asks if he goes to school or does anything, but Terudo doesn't remember anything, not even the city they're in. While walking, Sakura explains they're in a city called Neo Kyoto, where Build Divide decides everything. If you're good at it, you get privileges, but if not, you suffer in the outer district, all thanks to the King Law. Waiting for the light, Sakura checking the crowd stats says there's no challenger nearby. Terudo asks how she knows, and she tells him to blink twice, and now he can see people's stats too. She takes him to the school he's wearing the uniform for, but Terudo still can't remember. They plan to check if he's registered when a lady shows up, thanking Sakura for bringing Terudo back. She insists on taking him to his class. Sakura is happy that someone knows Terudo, so she decides to focus on finding info on nearby challengers. A girl talking with her friends notice Terudo is a challenger and marks him. After classes, Sakura tells Terudo there are other challengers in the school. Terudo is confident he'll win, so they go to find one. Sakura asks why he wants to defeat the king. Terudo says he just wants to beat him, then couldn't find any challengers when the girl from earlier, appears, asking for a fight. She bets 1 key chip, but Terudo bets all 3, which Sekiro was against, but he's confident in himself. They start the battle once the battle zone is created, and Hiyori draws her territory card, summoning her ace, Douglark. Terudo summons his own ace, Bloom. Hiyori attacks first, using a card called Johanna, making explosions that hit Terudo, costing him 2 lives, one being a burst trigger. On his turn, Terudo plays Nadia, making Hiyori lose a life as well. Hiyori summons an angel that boosts Johanna's power, making the explosions stronger. Nadia gets taken out, and the angel hits Terudo, making him lose another life. During Terudo's turn, he plays a card called Vienna and duplicates it with another copy card, both attacking Hiyori's units. She's surprised and plays a card to give Douglark armor and a sword. Activating Build Arise, her territory turns into a sky fortress. Hiyori wants to activate Douglark's ability but sees the odds are against her, so she ends her turn. Terudo summons Nadia again and plays a magician card, removing all of Douglark's points, eliminating him. Nadia then attacks Hiyori, making her lose more lives. Sekiro, who's watching, realizes Hiyori might be inferior. On her turn, Hiyori summons 2 card units. The first eliminates Nadia, and the second attacks Terudo, taking 1 of his lives. A burst trigger takes another life, but luckily a shot trigger lets Terudo play a missile, hitting Hiyori's first unit and ending her turn. For his turn, Terudo gets serious and puts on his hood, plays a card which activates Bloom's abilities, and using Build Arise he transforms his zone to his territory. Drawing 2 cards, he revives Frida and attacks Hiyori's second unit, hitting her 2, taking 3 of her lives. Hiyori got a shot trigger and plays it, returning Bloom to the deck. Now it's Hiyori's turn. She eliminates Frida with 1 card, also losing her own card. The second card attacks Terudo's life. Hiyori's plans didn't go as expected, and she fears as she experienced Terudo's darkness. Terudo plays a steel card, putting Bloom back and reviving Frida. They attack Hiyori with a 2-hit attack plus a burst trigger, taking 3 life points. Suddenly, Hiyori remembers her tough life in the outer district and refuses to back down. She activates her territory ability, drawing 2 cards, summoning Douglark back, empowering him, and attacking Bloom, eliminating her. Then, she attacks Frida and Terudo's life, leaving him with 1 life. Now Hiyori hopes Terudo doesn't have a buster card. She's ready to use Douglark's power to block any attack, keeping her remaining 2 units on standby. Depending on how Terudo plays, she might win, but he says it's her end. Activating his territory ability, Terudo draws 2 cards, eliminating 1 of Hiyori's units and summoning Riverwort. Riverwort subtracts 6,000 points from the opponent's attack, eliminating Douglark. Riverwort's 2-hit powerful attack makes Hiyori lose her last standing unit and her remaining lives. Terudo wins, getting all the chips. Sekiro congratulates him but also scolds him for betting all his chips, but Hiyori's tears catch their attention. Sekiro commends her on the battle and asks why she's crying. That's when Hiyori explains her tough life in the outer district and dream of defeating the king to change her life. Terudo says her dream won't come true, saddening Hiyori. She realizes she has to be strong, so she asks to be his apprentice, and after some back and forth, Terudo agrees. The next day, Sekiro, Terudo, and Hiyori go to a cool place Sekiro knows. She heard there's a group there that shares chips to be safer in battles. They think it's a good spot to get more chips, but when they get there, the group members are all beaten, and their chips are gone. Sekiro feels sad, but Terudo says they should find new challengers. Sekiro looks through her system to see who did this. They go to another place to find more challengers. Surprise! There's a big group of people outside, shouting for card player rights. Sekiro wonders if any of them have chips when Hiyori tells her that Terudo is missing again. Terudo went to a bakery, and a TV person asks him why he wants to win and build divide. Other people start talking too, but Terudo just wants bread. They think he meant he's hungry and take him to join their protest. Terudo tries to get away. Luckily, a guy helps him escape. He thanks the guy and goes to the bakery. Sekiro and Hiyori are looking for Terudo, but he's not there. Sekiro gets a message from her secret helper, Ishinome. She excuses herself and goes to meet him in a restaurant. Sekiro asks Ishinome if he knows who took the chips. Ishinome gives her a folder with all the info. The chip thief is named Naomitsu. In the evening, Naomitsu, the guy who saved Terudo, is curious about him. He follows Terudo home and finds out Terudo lives in a tent. Terudo offers him coffee. Naomitsu doesn't like how society treats people who aren't good at build divide. He thinks it's not fair. Terudo says he's okay with it, but Naomitsu wants to change things. He says he must defeat the king, and before leaving, he tells Terudo to find him if he needs any help. Later that night, Sakura calls Neimitsu. She tells him that she knows everything about him, where he lives, how old he is, even his blood type and his siblings. Neimitsu gets really mad at the mention of his siblings and demands to know who she is, but Sakura just wants him to challenge someone. The next morning, Teruto and Hiyori wait for the challenger Sakura told them to meet. Hiyori enjoys the view while they wait, and then Neimitsu shows up. He's not happy that Teruto is the challenger, and he flaunts his 7 chips. Neimitsu thinks Teruto is going the wrong way by wanting to be king instead of defeating the king. Although that's not Teruto's goal, he just wants to do his own thing and challenges Neimitsu to a duel. Neimitsu agrees, and they bet 4 chips each, making it a big showdown. The robot transforms the place into a battle zone. Neimitsu brings out his deck and summons Lionel, his ace. Teruto summons Bloom. While they're fighting, Sakura arrives, and Hiyori tells her that Neimitsu is super mad at Teruto. Sakura is surprised and doesn't know why. So far, Neimitsu loses 4 lives, and Teruto hasn't lost any. Neimitsu asks Teruto what he wants from the king, but Teruto just wants to defeat the king. Neimitsu gets angrier thinking Teruto's is lying. He activates Lionel's power, and turns the area into a deep canyon. Lionel keeps attacking even after Neimitsu's turn, surprising Sakura. Neimitsu reveals Lionel's special power that allows him to attack simultaneously again after any attack. Lionel takes out all of Teruto's units and attacks Teruto, taking away 3 lives. Now, Teruto has only 4 lives left, and Neimitsu has 5. Sakura and Hiyori worry because Teruto needs a good turn to win. On his turn, Teruto puts on his hood and says he won't let anyone stop him from reaching his goal. He uses Bloom's power, draws 2 cards, and hopes for a buster card. He gets one, but it costs him 1 life. Nadia attacks Neimitsu, taking away 1 star. On Neimitsu's turn, he orders Lionel to attack Bloom, but they are evenly matched. In the next turn, Teruto boosts Bloom's power, but Neimitsu does the same for Lionel. Bloom gets eliminated, and Teruto is left with only 4 lives, while Neimitsu has 5. Sakura and Hiyori fear for Teruto, but on Teruto's turn, he says the fun is just starting. He uses his territory's power to draw 2 buster cards, eliminates all of Neimitsu's units, and summons Rhizome to end Neimitsu's life. In his mind, Neimitsu remembers his loved one's corpses and plays some cards to resurrect Lionel and attack Teruto. Lionel takes away 2 lives, but a shot trigger comes up, and Teruto plays a trump card, a skeleton demon, to eliminate Lionel again. Neimitsu wonders why Teruto keeps playing so strongly. On Teruto's turn, he resurrects Bloom and takes away one of Neimitsu's lives. Neimitsu doesn't give up and plays 2 decoy cards. He attacks Teruto's life, leaving him with 1 life. But Teruto uses Bloom's power to revive Riverwort, reducing Neimitsu's unit's life by 6,000. He plays a card to resurrect Lionel from Neimitsu deck and uses it to eliminate Neimitsu's units. Then, with Riverwort's 2 hits, he attacks Neimitsu's life twice, leaving him with no lives. Neimitsu realizes Teruto was serious about just wanting to defeat the king. Lionel then eliminates Neimitsu, and Teruto wins the battle, gaining 4 more chips. Neimitsu admits defeat and says he'll become stronger to change the whole city. Teruto tells him to leave if he doesn't like the city. Everyone is surprised. Hiyori thinks Teruto is joking and says there's nothing outside Neo Kyoto, shocking Teruto. Sakura, sitting in her usual spot, sees that they have 8 chips but still have a long way to go to reach the king. The next day, Hiyori asks Teruto for some intense training because she wants to be as strong as he is. At first, Teruto says no, but Hiyori offers him some bread, and he eventually says yes. Meanwhile, Ishinome is tired of reading a lot when a girl named Kika arrives, saying she wants to see Teruto. Ishinome tells her it's a problem, but she threatens him to take her to Teruto, and he reluctantly agrees as long as it's entertaining. Teruto's way of training Hiyori is to make her fight for bread. After winning some from their seniors, he gets a notification for a special croissant. Both he and Hiyori go to look for the shop, while Sakura, unable to convince them that it's not intense training, leaves to find challengers. Hiyori and Teruto reach an abandoned road, and Hiyori goes to look for the shop when Kika appears and starts talking to Teruto. Kika asks Teruto to play a game with her. She says if he can defeat her, she'll give him special croissants, which she drops. Teruto is about to catch them when the whole area changes, and Kika chuckles, saying he fell for her tricks. Hiyori comes in and asks where they are, and Kika becomes upset, using her power to trap Hiyori against the wall, promising to let her go when the match is over. Kika spins a top to decide who plays first, and it lands on Teruto. He accepts the duel and summons Bloom. The girl also summons her ace Margria. Ishinome watches everything and sends a distraction to keep Sakura from interfering in the duel. Terudo and Kika battle, with Kika taking out Terudo's unit, Nadia. Terudo follows suit by setting a unit that acts as a decoy and prevents him from being hit. Hiyori cheers him on, but Kika brings out a unit ability, a judgment scale, allowing her to counter his attack with the coins that drop in it. Terudo refuses to be phased and attacks her with his decoy unit. Still his turn. He looks closely at her, Kika, who is wearing a mask. He sees a faint memory of a young girl but doesn't pay it much attention. Continuing the fight, he activates Bloom's ability and transforms the zone. Somehow, Kika is excited to see his zone and Bloom. Terudo pulls 2 cards for Buster cards but only gets 1, costing him a life. This adds another coin to Kika's judgment scale. To end his turn, he uses Bloom to take out one of Kika's units, bringing them both to 8 lives each. Kika's turn comes, and she activates her Ace's abilities, using Build Arise to transform her zone into a place she calls the Shrine of Justice. Using the 2 coins from the judgment scale, Margrave eliminates Bloom, gains 5,000 power, and takes 2 lives from Terudo. Luckily, there's a trigger shot, which he uses to destroy one of Kika's units. On his turn, he sees the young girl again in Kika, but he shakes it off and plays. Drawing 2 cards, he's able to eliminate Margrave, but this adds a coin to the judgment scale. He then finishes by using Rhizome to attack Kika, taking 1 life from her. Sakura, on the other hand, follows the decoy Ishinome set for a long time and starts figuring out it might be a distraction. She checks Terudo and Hiyori, only to discover that their location is offline. So, she runs back to look for them, certain that this can only be Ishinome's doing when she feels a sense of a familiar presence nearby. On her turn, Kika is still jovial and brings out one of her units, Elizabeth. Using the judgment coin, she brings back Margrave, and the coin once again gives her 5,000 power and 1 hit. Kika sends it to attack Rhizome, but Terudo uses quick timing, pulling a card that reduces Margrave's power, allowing Rhizome to win instead. Kika follows, using Elizabeth to attack the Dark Knight, eliminating both units. Hiyori, cheering for Terudo, begins to worry as Kika is really good. Kika starts laughing and says Terudo is the only one who can keep her entertained. Terudo is shocked that she knows his name and gets a slight headache again. She continues to ask if he forgot about her despite them playing together so many times. Terudo sees a silhouette memory of his younger self being chased after by a girl, and the girl telling him to play with her again. It seems like Terudo remembers her. He summons Nadia and Bloom and attacks her, but it becomes a shot trigger which Kika is happy about as she uses it to send Bloom back to the deck again. Now her turn. She asks Terudo if he still likes croissants and tells him not to follow strangers around because they have his favorite snacks. She reveals that's what led to them playing together again. Even though he's back, he's not as good as he was before. This revelation shocks Terudo. She continues to ask him why he came back without considering how she would have felt. Hiyori asks if he knows her, but since Hiyori has chosen to call him Master, Kika scolds her for calling Terudo Master, saying only she can be his friend and only she should be the one to play with Terudo forever. She begins to activate her units, sending them to attack Terudo as she keeps uttering that Terudo should only look and play with her. These attacks take 4 lives at once, leaving Terudo with only 1 life. Then, Terudo remembers that he hasn't ever thought of losing or lost, and this wasn't going to be his first. He summons Bloom and revives Riverwort, reducing Kika's units by 6,000, eliminating 1 and using Nadia to eliminate Elizabeth. Kika is delighted with his actions, eliminating Riverwort, saying that Terudo has always been like this, never giving up, no matter how much she backs him into a corner. That's what she liked about him, and she starts crying tears of happiness, saying it's fun to play with him and destroy him because he's the strongest of all. She summons Margrave again, claiming this is the end for Terudo. She attacks him, taking his last life, but it becomes a shot trigger which gives Terudo a trump card that he sends to attack Margrave. Kika uses quick timing to counter and eliminate his trump card, then declares that she loves him before finally defeating him. As they return to the normal world, her mask slices in half, revealing her face. Hiyori, now freed from her shackles, rushes to check on Terudo, and upon seeing the girl's face, tells Terudo that she's surprised he knows Kika because Kika is the king he's been trying to reach, and Kika confirms it. Sakura arrives, and Ishinome sees this as his cue to leave. He picks Kika, and together they leave the scene. Terudo is still surprised that Kika is the king, and at that moment, he tells them that she is his younger sister. Kika returns only to find Higuma, who asks where she's been, and she says she's been there. He tells her that he never gave permission to leave, but she tells him that she can do what she wants since she's the king, and Higuma becomes silent. She holds a Terudo doll and exclaims how happy she was, hoping to play with him again. The next day, Hiyori and Sakura notice Teruto feeling really sad after losing to his younger sister. They're worried he might give up on challenging the king. On the other side, Kika plays a game with a doll that has the same cards as Teruto, including Bloom. She easily wins, and the game ends. Higuma shows up, and Kika tells him the doll wasn't fun, wanting to fight Teruto again. But Higuma says she can't and needs rest, which she agrees to. Kika falls asleep with cables around her, hoping to see Teruto again. Later, Higuma scolds Ishinome for taking Kika to Teruto the other day. Ishinome says not to worry, as it's part of making Teruto stronger for Higuma's dream. He leaves, saying he's going fishing. Sakura and Hiyori try to cheer up Teruto, telling him to get ready for the next challenge. Sakura asks if he really doesn't want to challenge the king because she's his little sister. Teruto leaves, telling them to leave him alone. He goes to another place to fish, and Ishinome is already there, but they don't talk. Later, Sakura and Hiyori go to a restaurant. Sakura promises Hiyori cakes if she stays for a strategy meeting to help Teruto feel happy again. Hiyori enjoys her cake while Sakura asks if she thinks Teruto is weird. Sakura says she can't believe the king is Teruto's younger sister, thinking it might be a lie because Teruto doesn't remember anything. Hiyori doesn't think it's a lie and the way he behaves isn't a big deal and says Teruto is just absent-minded. Sakura agrees and remembers a moment with Kika, but when Hiyori asks what happened, she brushes it off as nothing. On the flip side, Ishinome decides to talk to Teruto. He says fishing is great for forgetting worries, but Teruto seems bothered. Teruto tells him to be quiet, but Ishinome keeps talking. He says fishing can bring a fear of losing, creating a defeat trauma. Ishinome thinks Teruto is going through that. Teruto denies it but has flashbacks of losing to his sister and other memories. As it gets dark, Teruto memories comes around as he remembers playing Build Divide with Kika as a child. Always losing. He tells Ishinome that Kika is the only person he couldn't defeat. Ishinome encourages him not to give it, saying he can become stronger and beat Kika. Teruto decides to defeat the king, Kika. Ishinome leaves, wishing him the best. Back to Sakura and Hiyori. They're still figuring out how to cheer up Teruto. Sakura decides to reveal Teruto's location to make him a target for challengers, hoping it boosts his confidence. Hiyori disagrees, asking to give Teruto time to recover, but Sakura discloses the location to all challengers, promising 8 chips for defeating him. Later, they find Teruto still fishing. Sakura gets mad, thinking he's just fishing. She throws all the fish into the river. Before an argument starts, Hiyori asks Teruto if any challengers came. Sakura admits she sent them. Teruto says they were all small fry and gives all his chips to Sakura. As she counts, she realizes he won 3 more, making it 11. Teruto stands up, saying he hasn't lost his way and plans to defeat the king. Sakura asks him to promise, betting everything on him, and Teruto assures her he will. After that, a man named Kaizen questions Neimitsu about defeating his students, and Neimitsu admits to it. Kaizen asks one of his students, Oki, to challenge Neimitsu to a battle. Later, Neimitsu wakes up in a room and finds Hiyori, Sakura, and Teruto there. Sakura explains they're at her house, and Teruto found Neimitsu in front of his tent and brought him there. Hiyori asks Neimitsu what happened, and he says it was a battle. Neimitsu explains facing the sorcery faction of Neo Kyoto University, led by Kaizen, the card professor. Kaizen initially sent his students, all defeated by Neimitsu, but Kaizen observed his moves to predict them, ultimately winning him. Neimitsu reveals Kaizen kidnaps people from the outer district for experiments. Teruto's group decides to seek revenge against Kaizen for what he did to Neimitsu, surprising him that they're willing to help. The next day, they go to the research laboratory where Kaizen is, but Neimitsu stays behind as they've seen his face and so not jeopardize the mission. He will join later. Pretending interest in studying, Kaizen talks to them about the department and orders coffee. When offering coffee to Sakura, it passes through her hands and spills. Kaizen dismisses it and sends a student to clean it while another should give them a tour. The student explains they research magical medicine, as they believe Build Divide can be used for battles and medicinal purposes. Later, Hiyori notices Sakura is missing. The guide claims Sakura possibly got lost on her way to the restroom, but Teruto, sensing a lie, pulls out his card and renders the guide unconscious. Hiyori calls Neimitsu, and they tell him Sakura's been kidnapped. Teruto decides to search for her. While Hiyori tries to stop him, she accidentally stumbles, pushing Teruto's hand to touch a book, revealing a secret underground area. They find people on beds, test subjects of the magic research lab. Suddenly Kaizen addresses them through a speaker, warning to surrender if they want Sakura safe. His students surround them. Terudo, using a card, creates a hole to escape and rescue Sakura on his own, leaving Hiyori and Neimitsu to handle the rest. Meanwhile, Kaizen has Sakura tied up, revealing her special body makes her perfect for his experiments. Terudo arrives, challenging Kaizen to a duel. Kaizen accepts, tying Sakura to a white wall. Before the battle, Terudo bets 11 chips, and Kaizen goes all in with 5 chips. Kaizen summons his ace called Rebecca, and Terudo calls upon Bloom. Kaizen wants to become king to change the world with magical medicine. He activates Rebecca's battle territory, an arsenal fort, attacking Terudo and causing him to lose 2 lives. Kaizen's territory lets him draw 2 cards every turn when attacking. Terudo, activating Bloom, sends Rhizome to attack, but Kaizen blocks it, boasting about knowing through his data records. Sakura wonders about the data record Kaizen mentions. Kaizen reveals that based on reports submitted by some of Terudo's challengers who were Kaizen's students, he knows about Terudo. Terudo has 6 lives, and Kaizen has 9. On Kaizen's turn, he draws a card named Rosa, drawing 4 more cards. He uses the power-up to eliminate Rhizome, then hits Terudo for 3 lives. Terudo, gambling, activates his zone ability to draw 2 cards, destroying Rosa and reviving Bloom. He summons Indiv, attacking and taking 2 of Kaizen's lives. Kaizen draws Mahulina, eliminating Indiv. Terudo draws a card launching a missile at Mahulina. Kaizen with his Amni lives believes he'll win on his next turn, but Terudo stakes everything on his last play. Terudo activates his Nightmare card, reviving Rosa from Kaizen's deck and powering her up. He gives her 1 hit, bringing her hits to 3. Using Bloom's ability, Terudo revives Indiv, which has 2 hits. Kaizen, frustrated but composed, claims that the 5 hits can't defeat him. However, Terudo believes otherwise. The first hit from Rosa takes 1 of Kaizen's lives, activating a shot trigger that he uses on Rosa. The damage doesn't take out Rosa. Terudo sends Rosa to fire her remaining 2 hits, triggering 4 burst triggers that end up taking away 6 lives from Kaizen, leaving him with nothing. Terudo then uses Indiv to attack, finally defeating Kaizen. Kaizen loses his 5 chips to Terudo. After the battle, Sakura is freed, and the group confiscates all of Kaizen's research drives. Kaizen claims he still has his student chips, but Sakura shows him the terminal device she used to stream all the negative ideology he spoke during the battle to the students. She's confident that no one will work for him again. The group returns, and Neimitsu apologizes and thanks Terudo for saving his life. Sakura expresses her gratitude to Terudo, who tells her he had to do something for her since she's always looking out for him and was worried about her. Sakura is surprised but smiles. Later, Kaizen receives a call from Higuma, who tells him he's no longer useful. Suddenly, puppets appear and attack Kaizen. At Sakura's house, Hiyori excitedly tells Sakura about a new beach resort that just opened. She asks Sakura if she's ever seen the sea, but Sakura admits she's only read about it in books. Hiyori mentions that even though she'd love to go, the tickets are too expensive. Sakura generously offers to pay and suggests they invite their friend Terudo to join them. The next day, the trio heads to the beach resort for a day of fun by the sea. They enjoy the beach and later, an idol named Miharu gives a concert in the middle of the sea, leaving everyone amazed by her singing. After the concert, Sakura and Miharu both want a tropical fruit drink, but there's only one left. They decide to have a friendly duel for it. Miharu introduces herself, and they engage in a build-divide battle. Miharu summons her powerful ace, Margulize, and Sakura summons Iora. During the battle, Miharu reveals she has a grudge against Sakura, thinking she judges her like others do. Despite Margulize reducing Sakura's remaining lives, Sakura manages to deal the final blow and win the duel. She encourages Miharu to stop feeling sorry for herself and accept her path. After her defeat, Miharu graciously lets Sakura have the last drink and promises to be good from now on. With everything settled, Sakura puts out a lost child notice for Terudo, but he's found chilling at the sea and doesn't respond to the notice. After their beach adventure, Hiyori tries to make Sakura look nice for Terudo, but they realize he's not into looks, just battles and bread. Meanwhile, Terudo heads to a bakery, captivated by the mouth-watering options. The owner, who had invited him over, shares that Terudo and Kika loved bread when they were little. She shows him a childhood picture, revealing they were inseparable until family issues separated them. Kika took it hard, crying when she found out. Terudo glimpses that emotional moment. Later, Terudo thanks the owner and heads to the shrine where he first woke up. Suddenly, a smoke bomb attacks, and he meets Ishinome. Asked what he wants, Ishinome explains he wants to see something intriguing between Terudo, who remembers his past, and the one who doesn't. With a snap, Terudo transforms into his child self, finding himself in his childhood room with young Kika. Ishinome says Higuma is slow, so he wants to speed things up. Young Kika invites Terudo to play Build Divide. Forgetting it's a simulation, Terudo acts like his younger self. They play, and Kika, unfamiliar with the game, learns with Terudo's guidance. The game turns real, and Kika summons Iora, confusing Terudo since her matured form is Margrea. They battle, and Kika, now skilled, attacks Terudo. Confused and upset, he loses, marking his first defeat. Ishinome shows Terudo what happened next. Kika started winning against Terudo in their Build Divide game, but he got angry and stopped playing with her. Despite her pleas, Terudo began ignoring Kika, and after a refusal, she cried and her hair turned white. Their parents' problems caused them to drift apart. Before leaving, Kika asked Terudo to play with her one last time. He agreed, promising to play the next day. However, when Kika couldn't find her cards the next day, she blamed herself, not knowing Terudo had taken them and left, ending their connection. Ishinome asks Terudo about his feelings and if they change his hatred for the king. But Terudo begs to return to the present. Reminiscing at the shrine, Terudo finds Kika's cards where he hid them, realizing he was always the antagonist in their story. In the evening, Terudo surprises Sakura and Hiyori, having won 3 more chips. Sakura insists on following him to get bread, reminding him of his tendency to get lost. A flashback of young Kika plays in Terudo's mind, and he allows Sakura to go with him. She questions his newfound motivation, suggesting she might be his little sister. But Terudo clarifies that Kika holds that role. He's determined to collect the remaining chips, reach the king, and battle Kika. Meanwhile, Higuma eagerly awaits Terudo, excited for the impending battle with Kika. Rinpu warns that Kika's time is running out, but Higuma is still thrilled for the clash between Terudo and Kika. The next day, Sakura and Hiroi are super excited because after Terudo's last battle, they only need 1 more chip to reach the king. Hiroi mentions that Terudo smiled when he won the chips, but Sakura didn't notice. Hiroi talks about how Terudo is different now, even looking for challengers himself. Sakura realizes something and says she needs to go somewhere. Later that evening, the system announces to Sakura that it's time for Terudo's next opponent. She starts feeling kinda sad about it. The next day, the group meets Terudo's challenger, a boy named Seiki. Sakura tells everyone not to underestimate Seiki because he's just 1 chip away from challenging the king too. The battle starts, and they both bet all their chips. Seiki brings out his ace, called Vertiga, and Terudo summons Bloom. After some back and forth, Sakura says the battle is super even. Then, Seiki changes his zone using Build Arise, and it turns into a citadel of lava and snow. They keep fighting, and Seiki's territory ability gives him the upper hand. He takes out Bloom and Endiv, but Terudo brings back Bloom and boosts her power using a card from Seiki's deck. But instead of going after Bloom, Seiki attacks Terudo, and takes 3 of his lives, leaving him in a tough spot. But Terudo doesn't give up. He activates Bloom's ability and summons Riverwort, reducing Seiki's units by 6,000, getting rid of one and using Riverwort to get rid of the other. Seiki brings back Vertiga and powers him up to take out Terudo's Black Dragon. He then attacks Terudo, but because of a shot trigger, Terudo uses a super cool trump card, a demon that takes out Seiki's cards. Now, Seiki has 5 lives, and Terudo only has 1. Seiki asks Terudo what strengths mean to him, and Terudo says it's all about facing the king, not losing, and sticking to his path. With Riverwort and Bloom, Terudo knocks out Seiki's lives and defeats him, getting Seiki's chips and completing the 21 chips needed to challenge the king. It's a big win for Terudo. Suddenly, the 21 chips turn into a key. Terudo gives the key to Sakura, who starts talking about fulfilling her wish, confusing everyone. Abruptly, she says goodbye to Hiyori and Terudo, blocks their path, and runs to use the key to reach the king. Sakura mentions she's like Terudo and reveals she woke up without remembering anything, not even her own name. Ishinome appeared, told her she was Sakura, and gave her everything she has now. She realized she was different, no hunger or sleep. Ishinome said not to worry, but Sakura's concerned because her memories haven't returned. All she recalls is the rebuild battle. Ishinome reveals they granted only half her wish when she defeated the king, making her just a soul, not her real self. Sakura asks about her body, suspecting the king stole it. Ishinome can't help, so Sakura decides to challenge the king again to make a new wish and regain her body and memory. Ishinome gives her 3 chips, and Sakura resolves to find someone to fight the battles for her. After many battles, she meets Terudo and realizes he's the one to help her collect chips. Meanwhile, Neomitsu learns of Sakura's betrayal and gets angry, suspecting she's gone to battle the king. Terudo has a flashback of falling into an abyss. After thinking, he stands up and reveals Sakura won't get her wish if she defeats the king. He won a rebuild battle against the king once. Later, Sakura arrives at the king's location, opening the gates with the key. Kika is disappointed Terudo didn't come, but Sakura isn't bothered, calling Kika a fake for stealing her body and challenging her to a duel, which Kika accepts. As Terudo and his buddies dash toward the tower, a little earthquake shakes things up, and a loud horn signals the start of a rebuilding battle. Terudo speeds up even more. Meanwhile, at the tower, Sakura and Kika create their special areas, getting ready for a big fight. Sakura attacks with Rabian, but Kika blocks it. Then, Sakura tries with Johanna, but Kika turns her life into a shot trigger, using it to send Johanna back to the deck. Kika talks about how Sakura choosing Terudo to help her wasn't just a random thing. Sakura notices Kika isn't attacking but is putting cards in her deck. Kika says Terudo won't forgive Sakura, but Sakura thinks it's for the best since getting her body back will take her to a time where Terudo isn't around. Sakura activates Iora, turning the zone into a flying thing called Megadrag. She uses Megadrag to attack Kika's 2 units, then uses Iora to hit Kika, taking 2 of her lives. She attacks again with another unit, grabbing 1 more life and leaving Kika with only 5. Now it's Kika's turn. She just summons a card and ends her turn without attacking. Sakura asks Kika why she's not serious about the battle. Kika talks about her time with Terudo, listing all the things she loves about him. Sakura agrees, making Kika mad because she thinks nobody should know Terudo better than she does. Sakura regrets betraying Terudo, who cared for her, but she keeps going. She uses Iora and Megadrag to take 2 more lives from Kika, leaving her with 3. But there's a shot trigger, and Kika uses it to activate a counter unit, stopping Sakura from reaching her life. Kika gets frustrated and starts playing for real. Kika does a super move by using Margrea and changes her zone to the Shrine of Justice, a super powerful thing that's new. Sakura is super surprised. Kika gets rid of Iora, Nadia blocks Megadrag, and then smashes Megadrag with Margrea. Megadrag crashes to the ground, and Kika laughs, saying all of Sakura's units are gone and that she's all alone and will always be alone. But Sakura still has 9 lives and isn't giving up. She brings out Johanna, and Iora fights back by summoning another Iora. Sakura activates Megadrag again and fights back, taking out 2 of Kika's units. Then she uses Johanna to take 1 life from Kika, leaving her with just 2 lives. Kika tries to attack Sakura with Margrea, but Sakura uses her Megadrag to block it, and Megadrag gets eliminated. Sakura goes to pick a card for her turn, but it's not a good one, so she ends her turn. Now it's Kika's turn. She draws a special card and tells Sakura that she's just a bit ahead in lives. With her special card, every time Sakura sends out a unit, Kika's power goes up. Kika says Sakura should stop saying she owns the body if she can't remember the memories. Kika brings out Elizabeth and Grona and, using L-View, launches a 2-hit attack on Sakura, taking 2 of her lives. But 1 life is a shot trigger, and Sakura uses it to rest Elizabeth. Kika keeps going, saying Sakura couldn't feel anything for her twin sibling Terudo, even though they're twins. According to Kika, Sakura is just a doll born from her, and her dream of getting a body won't come true. Kika laughs and has taken 3 of Sakura's lives at this point. Sakura responds, saying she knows all this but wants to try. She's realized she's different, and even if her fate is to disappear, she doesn't want to give up. Meanwhile, Terudo is outside, trying to break through the gate with his card, but it's not working. Ishinome, who knows they're there, shows up and offers to help. He asks Terudo who he's there for, and after some hesitation, Terudo blurts out Sakura when another quake hits. Ishinome takes this as his answer and says if Terudo is ready, his existence might end this time. And Terudo agrees if Ishinome takes him to Sakura. Back in the fight, Kika tells Sakura that her wish won't be granted. Instead, she'll be absorbed and disappear. Sakura asks why Kika created her, and Kika admits it was because she wanted a wish so badly that they split into 2. This makes Kika sad, and not wanting to hear more, she launches a 2-hit attack at Sakura, taking 3 of her lives. Kika tells Sakura to give up, but Sakura refuses, expressing regret about using Terudo for her wish, but insisting on wanting to feel again. Just then, Terudo, Neimitsu, and Hiyori arrive thanks to Ishinome. Terudo tries to stop the fight, but Sakura insists on regaining her body, believing she isn't real without it. Terudo reassures her, saying she is real to him, and it's thanks to her that he made it this far. Kika gets furious and is about to destroy Sakura, but Terudo intervenes, saying that Sakura was reborn with a soul. However, Sakura tells him not to worry, as she finally got her wish granted. Kika uses Margrea to destroy Sakura's last life, and she disperses into petals, thanking Teruto for being with her until the end. The match is over, and Hiyori, seeing Sakura's disappearance, starts crying. Suddenly, Kika regains her other half and becomes stronger. This infuriates Teruto, who gives Hiyori Sakura's clothes to hold and challenges Kika to a duel. Kika accepts, and Ishinome declares that the real battle is about to begin. Higuma, who is watching, is excited to witness the true power of the king. The battle is about to start, however Teruto starts to recall his memories. He realizes how and why he's here for. After recalling it, Teruto attacks with Vienna, that Ambition Eater, taking 3 lives from Kika. But she fights back, using Grona to get rid of Ambition Eater, and reducing 3 of Teruto's lives. Now, they both have 7 lives left. Kika is happy because Teruto seems to have eyes only for her, but Teruto gets serious. He puts on his hood, activates Bloom, and transforms the whole battlefield into something he calls the Tower of Trials. It's totally different from before. Teruto summons Rhizome and attacks Grona. Kika gets serious too, activating Margrea and boosting her units. She uses Margrea to get rid of Rhizome, but Teruto draws a Buster card, saving Bloom and using her to eliminate Grona. Kika loves the challenge, saying she'll keep beating him. It's Teruto's turn, and he activates the Tower of Trials, summons Mantis, and revives Aria. Aria attacks Margrea, taking her out, and Mantis hits Kika, taking 4 of her lives. But the last one turns into a shot trigger, letting her draw a card and summon Elizabeth while reviving Margrea. Kika says this is their last battle, planning to seal Teruto inside her and play together forever. She duplicates Elizabeth, summons Helmina, and uses her to nullify Bloom's ability. Then, she takes out Teruto's Mantis with Margrea and attacks him with the double Elizabeth, reducing his lives to 1. Kika mocks him, thinking she's got the win. But then, Teruto takes off his hood and surprises her. He didn't come to defeat her, he came to say sorry because he doesn't hate her at all. In the big battle between Kika and Teruto, things get intense. Teruto apologizes to Kika for his past actions, saying sorry for her hair color and making her the king. He admits it was his own weakness that made him act that way. Teruto plays his turn, using a black dragon to weaken Margrea and Helmina, then activating the Tower of Trials to revive Rhizome. He increases the black dragon's power, attacks, and eliminates Elizabeth and Rhizome. Kika starts crying because she always thought Teruto hated her, but now she sees the Teruto she wanted to catch up to, and she's super happy. They continue battling, both enjoying the game. Teruto summons Mantis, revives Aria, and takes out Margrea. Kika summons Elviu and attacks Teruto, leaving both with 1 life. Kika brings Elviu back and attacks, reducing Teruto's lives to 1. They're both smiling, having a great time. Teruto remembers Sakura and plays Iora from Kika's deck. Kika wonders why he has Sakura's Iora, but Teruto reveals it's hers, taken when they were kids. He plays Aria, attacks with Black Dragon, and they both eliminate each other. With Kika's field empty, Teruto expresses that she made him stronger just as he made her stronger. He uses Bloom to win the battle, but there's a flashback. Kika finds herself trapped, and Higuma tells her to offer her body to the king. She resists but eventually succumbs, creating Sakura in her mind before becoming Kika the king. Back to the battle, Iora eliminates Kika. They find themselves back in the tower, and a robot congratulates Teruto. The place starts falling apart, and the central unit tries to take Kika again. Teruto holds on, Bloom helps free Kika, but the tower is in chaos. Higuma's tower malfunctions, and Teruto refuses to let go of Kika despite the cables pulling him. Bloom acts on her own, freeing Kika but trapping Teruto. Neimitsu reveals that Higuma is his father and seeks revenge for his fallen brothers. The tower is infested by bugs, and Neimitsu attacks Higuma. Rupi suggests leaving, and Ishinome bids farewell before the bugs engulf everything. In a new scene, the central unit tries to take Teruto. He tells Hiyori and Kika to return to the real world. The bugs infest the tower, and Teruto is taken away. Hiyori floats in virtual space, and Ishinome saves her. When Hiyori wakes up, she sees Neo Kyoto Tower covered in a pink membrane like petals, leaving her confused.